AI in Action is brought to you by Alldus International, covering your business's staffing, consulting, and networking needs. Our host, Bar Kelly, brings you the leading minds in AI, sharing their story, their success, and their advice. Focusing on fast-tracking you to the top, AI in Action cuts through the hype to help you kickstart your data science career. To listen to the latest AI in Action podcast, head over to www.alldus.com/podcast or subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Podcasts.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Alldus podcast. I'm your host, Ben Sparks, and today we're continuing with our ServiceNow series, interviewing some of the best and brightest leaders, executives, and technical talent from across the ServiceNow ecosystem. Today we are lucky to host Fliria Jernigan, who currently holds the position of Vice President of Technology at LPL Financial. Fliria is responsible for the strategic direction of vision and growth of IT service management, or ITSM, practices across the ServiceNow product. As a seasoned professional with over 20 years ITSM experience, she is known for driving process improvement, digital transformation, and maximizing operational excellence across the business. Fliria has transformed cultures, increased process efficiency, led cross-functional teams, and minimized technology risk across insurance, retail, industrial automation, and financial industries. She holds a BA in Business and Information Technology and has multiple ITSM certifications. In this conversation, Fliria will be discussing several topics, but with a focus on her journey to VP as part of our mentorship track and some of the key learns that she's faced along the way. Some macro trends driving digital transformation in financial services and probably some other sector as well. And also then looking at how ServiceNow is adding value to LPL Financial. So Fliria, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks very much. Let's jump straight into it. For those of our listeners that have not heard of LPL Financial, please tell us a little bit about the organization.
Yeah, of course. So LPL is the nation's leading independent broker-dealer. We offer an integrated platform of proprietary technology, brokerage, and investment advisor services to more than 16,000 financial professionals and approximately 700 financial institutions. We also support more than 4,000 other financial professionals with customized clearing solutions, advisory platforms, and technology. And we have gorgeous campuses located in Fort Mill, South Carolina, San Diego, California, and our newest campus in Austin, Texas.
So 20 years of experience, we've got a lot to go through, but let's start with your current role and please give our listeners an overview of maybe the responsibilities and I suppose the day-to-day of a VP of technology at LPL.
So I joined the LPL family a little over 4 years ago as the ITSM practice owner, responsible for the implementation of best practices, really with a focus on service transition and service operations. My current role is VP of ITSM practices and the ServiceNow product owners. I manage a team of developers and administrators responsible for the support, configuration, and maintenance of the ServiceNow product, as well as providing direction, guidance, and governance for ITSM practices.
Nice. Well, thank you for that. Someone once said to me, it's very easy to think that senior people have always been senior, which I thought was a really interesting way to put it. I'd love to know a little bit about your career path up till now, and pretty much everyone has a different story as well, how you got introduced to ServiceNow. So maybe you can give us a bit of a history lesson on your career.
Yeah, for sure. So my path wasn't traditional at all, right? Coming out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I took a college course every now and then and really didn't get serious about my future until I became a single mom at 21. It was then I decided that I probably need to figure out a way to take care of this beautiful baby. Ursuline College in Ohio at that time was one of the few colleges that offered evening and weekend programs, which fit my schedule perfectly because I could work during the week and take most of my classes on the weekend. So I enrolled and still had no clue. But I met 4 ladies that did, Angela, Annette, and Ann. And these ladies introduced me to the possibilities and options within the technology space. So I just followed them around for 3 years. And with their support, guidance, and at times a little tough love, I eventually graduated with a BA in Business and Information Technology. But while I was in college, I landed my first technical role at a service desk as a major incident manager. It was in this role that I caught the bug for process improvement and recognized that working more efficiently within the tech space is a thing and it's a huge opportunity. I also discovered that you didn't necessarily have to be a programmer or the most technical person to excel in the tech sector. So from the service desk position, I transitioned from incident management role to change management to problem management, and it just goes on from there. So now we've got all these best practices that I've learned and implemented across those different processes, but we're managing them out of Lotus Notes databases or highly customized ITSM products, which didn't always deliver the return that we were looking for. Then along comes ServiceNow with best practices already built in, easily configurable workflows, and abundance of integration opportunities. And the best part for a non-techie is it was completely hosted. So you didn't have to be an infrastructure expert to support the product. Having the background in ITSM practices positioned me perfectly for ownership of what then was an ITSM product. But of course, with the powerful workflow engine, we were able to evolve quickly from ITSM functions into other areas of the business.
Fantastic. So if you would look back over your career, what would you say have been some of the milestones and some of the learns that you've picked up along the way?
My biggest career milestone to date is becoming VP of ServiceNow and IT Service Management for LPL Financial. This role has really positioned me to drive business outcome in partnership with amazing people, processes, and great technology. So taking on the responsibility for the vision and the strategy and the growth of the platform has stretched me professionally and provided some amazing opportunities for growth. So when I think about the key career and life learnings for me, because I think that goes hand in hand, it's about relationships and collaboration and partnerships. And that's critical to anyone's success. We cannot do this alone. It's an ecosystem, right? No one person has all of the answers, and we're always better together.
Awesome. And I think the ServiceNow ecosystem is fantastic at embracing that. I'd love to zoom out a little bit. We're always interested in the people and the technology, but we're also interested in kind of what's driving different sectors. So what are some of the macro themes and challenges that the financial sector is facing now, and how is ServiceNow positioned to combat or help these?
So I think a challenge across all industries is providing an exceptional user experience. Folks are used to the Googles and the Amazons and being able to go in, search, click, get what they need, and it walk them through the process behind the scenes. The financial industries are experiencing that as well, internally and externally. So specifically internally, what we're doing to support our users is creating automated workflows, right? Implementing live agent chat, for example, for our service desk. So users don't necessarily have to pick up the phone all the time and call the service desk. They can get their answers right from the live agent, as well as integrations with other platforms such as Stratosphere, able to remote into users' computers and take over and see exactly what they're looking for looking at when they're troubleshooting. Jira integrations, right? Organizational change management is a big one as well. We've got amazing platform. How do we get the word out and start to communicate organization-wide how we're going to use this platform to bring about the business value that we're looking for?
And let's talk ServiceNow specifically. How is the platform used in LPL Financial, and what's the value it's bringing?
So our organization quickly recognized the value of the powerful workflow engine that ServiceNow has, and it's configured in alignment with the IT service management best practices. So we've rolled out incident management, problem, change, knowledge, all of the ITSM functions, but we're also using ServiceNow again to help the service desk respond quicker and better, more efficiently to our users that are calling in. We're using it in the event management space, detecting alerts on critical infrastructure that could possibly cause service disruption to our business. We're catching those before it happens and resolving those with incident management and event management as well. We have an amazing self-service portal that users can go in to either submit their incidents or check the status of incidents and requests, as well as a whole host of other things. For example, SAM Pro, software asset management, is also being used in the ServiceNow space.
You've obviously very heavy on the business process side, as we mentioned, which is fantastic. A lot of people we've interviewed have actually said the technology is last. It's really the people and the processes. I'm super interested in some of your tips for best practice and maybe even looking back on some of the sort of deployments and implementations you've been part of, maybe what you would advise someone embarking on the same journey sort of keep in mind?
So don't go on this journey alone. Bring along the journey with you, because that increases engagement. And if you have folks that are there advocating with you and for your product and your processes, it doesn't all come back on you to do that work. So you want to always bring the teams on the journey with you. And that way it doesn't feel like something was done to them. They were a part of it. They were a part of the conversations. They were a part of the configuration. They were a part of the processes that you all are developing and rolling out. So absolutely bring them along with you. And of course, the implementation of a roadmap, understanding exactly what you're trying to achieve. And that way, executives and IT professionals and stakeholders are all on the same page. We know where we're going, and this is our plan on how we need to get there. And it also helps to hold value-based conversations. So you've got this roadmap that you're looking at. If there's any discussions around what's on the roadmap, you're very clear on what that is and how do we get to the next steps. So it's important that stakeholder management is also considered, right? So the OCM piece of it is a huge part. Like you mentioned, Ben, technology is last. It's really about the people and the processes and then the technology. How do we enable the technology to facilitate efficient processes within our organizations and within the business? So making sure that you're letting people know exactly where you are along your roadmap and communicating early and often.
Amazing. There's some great stuff there, and I'm sure people can definitely take that away in be it in a technical or in a business process role. What about over the last 20 years outside of ServiceNow, putting the technical piece to one side? What advice would you give to yourself if you were going on this journey again, and if you could go back 5, 10, maybe even 20 years? What advice would you give to yourself?
Yeah, there's probably a lot of advice that I would give myself, but along the way and during the course of my career, I would just say, be brave enough to be yourself. You have value and you don't have to be anyone else or emulate anyone else to show that value. Be yourself. And be brave enough to do that.
Love that. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
Absolutely. So I do have to give a huge shout out to my LPL family, my ServiceNow team, and all of the partners that I have at LPL helping us keep this thing together and move it forward for sure. And thank you, Ben, for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and look forward to maybe another podcast that later down the line. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
AI in Action is brought to you by Alldus International, covering your business's staffing, consulting, and networking needs. Alldus offer an exec search program. Alldus can help you discover how data science and AI can transform your company. With our unrivaled network of C-suite executives and senior AI professionals, we offer retained search services across the US and Europe. For more information, contact mark@alldus.com. Get the Alldus advantage. Become a member of the Alldus community and enjoy some of the following: AI meetups. Once a month, our community gathers to listen to some of the leading experts in the world of data science and AI. Our speakers come from all over the world, including Dublin, Boston, and Frankfurt. We also have our AI mentors. Our experts will provide mentoring to Alldus members. And don't forget our AI in Action podcast. Each week we have guests from all over the world talking us through their education, career, and more. Become an Alldus member and get the Alldus advantage. For more information and to sign up for our newsletter, log on to www.alldus.com. That's www.alldus.com. Alldus International, empowering through AI.